It's the official NRL Fantasy Podcast.
Wow, what a weekend, eh? Magic round in the books. So many fantasy people up there, right? Cookie, our mate, was up there. And
Yep.
Longy was up there.
Didn't get an
TK.
appearance. Didn't get an appearance.
We were busy working here.
Someone's got to run the shoe.
9 to 5. We're doing games and everything.
Yep.
Doing a lot. Paulie G, Andrew Mullenrolli, Luke Seifleet. It is the official NRL Fantasy Podcast, as that very good voiceover artist at the start of the show did say. Guys, how'd you go? Because I'm feeling like this could have been the first time ever all three of us were doing these ones.
Raised the bar. Yeah, pretty well this week. I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Left some points on the table, but I won't complain too much because I had a pretty good round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I told you last week. I said it'd be high scoring.
Yeah.
So
And it was.
I think it's only going to get higher from here because.
There were tales of people getting 1,200 and losing their head-to-head.
Well, I think the team of the round was 1280, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
It's pretty monstrous.
I don't know if it can be replicated this week.
I think it'll go close, mate. If you get your captains right, they can go very close.
Yeah, I was disappointed. 5:59. I took it off Haas. 5:59 p.m. on Friday. So
Got too cute there, Paulie.
Too cute, Paulie.
Too cute.
You got your heart in way your head.
Yeah.
yeah,
So I like it old school, mate. Just run with it. Run with it. Don't loop. Just running in blind.
yep. There you go. And any other takeaways from the round, Luke? What do you think?
I think what we talked about 2 weeks ago in regards to when to get off certain players, like I do know we're going to go through them obviously, but like just the timing of the who do you think's in the origin frame, when to get off. So a lot of people are going to be getting off Connor Watson this week. I do think there's a lot of chat about people going to get off Corey Horsburgh based off what happens with him, because I think there's a very probably
been named.
no, I'm just saying, but I think there's an 85% chance he plays for Queensland. So you're going to get one, you got to time it so you got enough players for round,
What we don't want to do
up.
is get rid of guys like Rob Toyer.
No.
Before.
Yeah, that's just that's unlucky. Like,
It happens.
I'm not going to bag people who did that.
I know.
That's unreal. Like you can't go from a 24 to a 90.
Well, we knew it was a tough matchup the week before, but it's not like it got a lot easier against Herbie Farnworth. Andrew, Herbie's usually one of the better defenders.
He made him look, with all due respect, silly. How good Robert Toyer was. So it was crazy. Like all these, try assists, tries, line break. Like he was like bananas. He went bananas on Herbie, if you like.
It goes back to my point about the fantasy scores, right? Because when teams let go of the rope, they're letting go of the rope. So what happens in that 15-minute period and teams have the ball, they're just racking up enormous amounts of points. That's why Terrell May's so good. Because when their team has possession, he's just offloading at will.
Yeah.
What are we doing with all these Roosters players? Because when we get to our previews, when they're on bye, we're not going to talk about them. So let's talk about them quickly now. There's a lot, and people will have to say.
Connor goes bye-bye.
So Watson, and if you for some reason still had Crichton, they're the obvious ones.
Yeah, because they're both going to play Origin.
And Sandon Smith.
Sandon Smith, I think, as well. Like, if you hadn't already, I jumped a week early, so I kind of got lucky.
Yeah, you did.
And then if you
lucky's an understatement.
And then if you've still got a lot of them, maybe Siwa Wong.
Well, again, like I still think there's a bit more upside to him, and also with.
Of course there is. But some people have got
with Hugo as well.
15 this week.
So Hugo, I think. I mean, obviously, if
you've got to hold him.
you got to hold him.
You got to hold Toyer if you're still holding him.
Yeah.
And I feel like now, even though earlier I thought White might have dipped, his minutes have stabilised, and those mids for round 12, they're too critical.
Well, no Lindsay, so that's the thing. Like he's just benefited.
So I think
from
White's a
injuries.
hold.
Yep.
Yeah. If you're going to power rank White
and Wong.
And Wong, I mean, how would you?
That's what I'm thinking. White's now more of a hold than Wong.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you've got Toyer and you've got Savala and you got White and you've also got Wong, you're down to 17 this week, unless you flick Wong. And some people like myself own Preston and Wong, so we'll be watching tonight so closely, because if Preston gets past, if he gets cleared, then round 12, Preston and Nicholson on edges. Well, Wong, you can only play 2 edges.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I think it's a big night for you in the judiciary.
It's a big night to decide if Siwa Wong remains in the Paulie G train.
Paulie, you'll be protesting at the front. Free Preston. Free
Just
Preston.
hang around. Just, hi guys, I've got another angle. All right, we're going to get to your questions very, very soon, but why don't we start with some previews, shall we? It all kicks off for round 10. Parramatta Eels v the Dolphins on Thursday night. And the Eels, Luke, I thought they left a bit on the table after a very good showing Easter Monday back a few weeks back. Then they had the bye, but against the Sharks, it was kind of a bit of revert to type, even though Moses was in the team.
And they got pretty unlucky in some pretty big moments too, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're chalk and cheese compared to what they were before.
Yeah,
before
Dylan
Mitch
Brown's.
came back.
Yeah, Dylan Brown's a different player.
Different player.
Yeah.
Even Ayong, he's better now too. I mean, Sharks are a
Still
good.
want more from Ayong.
Sharks are a good team. Like, they're a good team. So I mean, they probably were expected to close out, but it was a lot closer than what people expected.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think, Andrew, that Iongi's still a hold?
I think so. I think he's still got a bit to go.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is. I mean,
You don't want to play.
First up, you can put him in your emergencies. It's their first game. You can loop. Riley Smith was impressive. I stayed away after what happened to me last year with both hands and Mussick.
Yeah.
I stayed away from
Same.
Riley
I
Smith.
think I'm a bit stung with the Eels number 9s, but
If he has another 50 plus, I might jump on.
Well, this team just screams rebuild, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah, it's too much of a
Riles is
rebuild.
just embracing. He's going to play all these kids. If he loses, he loses.
You know what was annoying, Luke, was the Kautoga playing on the left.
Yeah, understatement. Yeah, it's understatement. It was
That means
disappointing.
now we're just basically resigned to him.
I
playing the wrong side.
I don't get that. Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
Dolphins, are they? Well, I say Qatar was still good. Andrew.
He was good.
That's one thing.
He's been more than good.
65. People brought him in.
Super
People
impressive.
brought him in the last few weeks, and I think they were probably thinking, oh,
What's he
maybe I
averaging?
should have gone
Yeah,
Jamal Fogarty, but Qatar outpointed him this round.
he's got roughly about 50s each week. So
Especially,
Yeah,
especially if
55
you got on him at the
average.
start of the
Yeah,
year.
50 foot.
You're laughing.
Don't get me started. Oh my God.
but
Everyone told me stick with Cleary.
Especially, and let's
wanted
be
to
honest,
go real
in
left field.
an ordinary team, like they just.
they weren't great last week. I was expecting more from all of them
Hopefully
last week.
Herbie bounces back.
Yeah.
I still like him as a buy cover guy, but depends who you've got.
I can't pay that much for us.
He
Yeah,
is-
well,
he is
Lucas
a-
and Fermor are going too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not only paying that much for Dylan Lucas and Thermal. Can't do it for anyone else. No deal.
Let's talk about the game that does feature Dylan Lucas and both Fermor. It's the Knights v the Titans, Friday night at 6 p.m. And, well, can we say, Andrew, Newcastle are back? Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, well, let's rephrase it. They're not the worst team in the league with Safidi back. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
With front rowers in their team, they're no longer the worst team in the
Yeah.
NRL.
And Lucas back.
Yeah, but
Lucas
And
back.
obviously Leo's been
but
back now for a couple.
Safidi's the big. Like, as soon as he went down, they just plummeted.
What about the guys like Sharp, Best, Marju, Ponga return?
Ponga, we'll say
Good
that though.
scores.
We'll say that though.
Ponga-
We're going to wait one more week, give him this week, and then of course, like his class shown through against a weakened Rabbit side. That was, I mean, always going to happen.
And he had
right?
the handbrake on too.
Yeah.
So just remember that. Like, if you held, he basically said, I'm still here, you know. So
This could be an even bigger week.
I'm just, again, I want to shout out Fletcher Sharp. He's so good, man. Like,
He's so quick.
anyone that picked him up's laughing. I wish I had the courage to do it.
Paulie,
at the time.
Paulie was trying to talk me into it. I went Ponga instead of Sharp.
I was out, unfortunately. I couldn't do it. I thought I'm like, I don't know if he's going to get enough, but he's got to be. I reckon he's, again. I think I said a couple of weeks ago. I think he's probably top 5 quickest players in the league.
Yeah.
And he just goes all day.
He just goes all day.
Goes all
He's got
day.
such a high floor for a guy who has a higher ceiling. It doesn't normally happen in fantasy. Normally it's one or the other. I did trade him in. I was laughing on Saturday, but 3 days later, I've missed the Kiraz points. That was the other guy I was thinking. And now Jaden Campbell, the guy I traded out, named for the Titans. So I'm sort of like, oh, I've blown a trade.
Good pivot there,
So,
Paulie.
yeah. So I'm a bit disappointed, even though Sharp did everything as advertised.
Well, I mean, what do you want, Paulie?
Well, I don't want Campbell back.
Well, he might
I
go.
want my trade.
He might go bananas again this week, Paulie. Honestly.
Oh, look, Sharp's a great pickup.
I think
Don't get
he's
me
great.
wrong, but I wish I'd done it another way.
Yeah.
I know I say this a lot on this show. There's going to be a lot of points in this game. This won't be 4-all at half time, mate. There's no way in the world.
Do we give AJ Brimson one more chance, or is this?
I never had him.
Yeah, I think
those of us that do.
I think you have to. I think his break even's what 44, Paulie. So
He needs to. He needs to have a big game.
Oh,
I
I don't need that stress in my life.
yeah.
If Preston's gets off and Horsburgh gets cleared to play, I think Brimson's going to be out of my team. I think the only way he survives is trying to cover injuries and suspension because it's a tough watch.
So formal.
It's a tough watch. Oh, how good.
He's just
well done
so
to
good.
people that got him.
Yeah, I got him a couple of weeks ago, just before his
especially the
Panthers.
scores he's putting up in like
Losing teams.
badly beaten
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah,
He's got to play Origin, doesn't he?
I think. Yeah,
That's the only downside for people. I know a lot of people are going to send questions and going, "Do you just get him in?" I don't think he can.
Well, I think if you got him, it's
I think
okay.
you've got him
because the Titans have a bye anyway.
100%. What I'm saying is,
But you're
like,
right
you can't
now. You
because
pay that price. Just get Dylan Lucas because he won't play Origin. They're both dual position. They're both putting up huge numbers.
Yeah.
I think the Fermor train has passed.
lots of points in this game. Buckle up.
Let's talk the Rabbitohs and the Broncos, shall we? 8 p.m. game. Latrell Mitchell's back. Jamie Humphrey's back. These are huge in for Souths, Luke. They really needed these guys back.
Understatement. They're on bare bones, unfortunately. Yeah, and based off the positional changes too, Wayne's just he's trying to find something because
You and Aitken into the second row. Hubner back a lot.
I don't want to put the mocker on
like
it,
that.
but I really fear for people who don't captain Payne Haas this week.
Did you
I think-
keep Lachlan Hubner?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, he's
So
a
did
good
I-
hold.
so did
He's a
I.
good hold.
I think it was out of necessity.
So yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Yeah, good. Well done. I traded him a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So it didn't bother me so much what happened last week, but it's bothering me now. I think he could score 60.
The key to their entire team, just to kind of, again, banking the wins early in the season has kind of helped them a bit.
It's been amazing for
But the
them.
reason he's changed the starting front row is because they're getting killed in the middle.
Yeah.
And they're going to they're taking out their best back rower, put him in the middle.
Yeah.
And then who are they welcoming?
It's right. Like they basically said,
Payne
mate,
Haas.
we just got to stop this bloke. We got to stop. Like yeah.
And do you think they can, Andrew?
I don't
Is
think
Payne
so.
Haas captain material?
I think he's captain material. What do they do after Payne Haas? That's the thing. Like Payne will roll through them, and then Pat
off the
Carrigan's
back of that.
on the back of that. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be really
You're
tough
going to need
for
a
him.
monster Latrell game.
Yeah.
To stay in this.
Shibasaki, for the true believers, he got another 50 last week.
Yeah.
He got another 50, and this one, Jesse Arthur's something.
Selwyn could go bananas. Like
Cobbo, Longy mentioned him earlier.
If there was a team that represented this NRL season in NRL Fantasy, it's the Brisbane Broncos.
yeah.
Yeah.
One week you look like you're just 1100 and you're cooking, and then next week you're 800 and you're actually fighting for dear life in the last, and you're trying to loop every point you can.
Yeah.
I cannot figure them out.
No, it's
And
unbelievable.
until they figure out their problem with,
maybe when
because
Mann comes
well,
back.
they'll probably blow the doors off South, right?
Well, on paper,
on
paper,
paper,
of course,
paper.
yeah.
Unless Wayne Bennett
Like
just
your
says
something side looks good on
Yeah, I
paper,
know,
but as
mate.
soon as you looked on
What a
Sunday night and you're at
shit.
860, you're in
Like,
trouble.
What? You should have seen it coming.
So, I think, again, moral of that story, I think you have to captain Payne Haas.
Yeah,
I think
it's a no-brainer.
Just do it. Going to get to your questions very, very soon. Let's just do one more game before we do.
This is the crown jewel right here, Paulie.
It is Saturday afternoon, rugby league at its finest. The Canberra Raiders taking on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. 1v2, am I correct in saying?
Yes, you are.
It's as good as it gets. And what about KO Weeks, eh? What about that guy?
Yep.
Manly legend.
That's right, Manly legend.
That try was just out of this world. Jamal Fogarty, I mean, even in a game where he's a bit quieter, he still pumps out a 48. and
Yeah, I
that's why
picked him
you
up a
have
couple of weeks ago, and he just ticks along. And
Yeah.
by the end of the game, you're like, oh, 59, how
Kicks
good.
goals,
Yep.
his kick meters.
He's
are
the only
good.
one kicking, yeah.
And if there's lots of tries to be scored, which probably won't be this game,
Yep.
to be fair, he's often involved in
Yep.
try assists.
Steady.
and
He's
stuff.
just steady, mate.
So
He's
many
just-
ways to get
He's just a
points.
steady veteran. He just knows.
Future
he never
Manly legend.
he never makes mistakes.
Tom Starling, is he a sell now? That was a down game.
No.
You're okay
I'm not
with it?
selling him. Why would you sell him?
Well, I'm just a bit nervous. Paddy.
Yeah, but who are your hookers in this? Like, who are you going to your hookers this year?
Yeah.
Outside Aaron Clark.
Clark,
A
yeah.
lot of people
Maybe
can't. A lot of
Tavanga.
people can't afford him.
Maybe Simpkin.
No.
Hudson Young, a little bit quieter, but when
Well, he's not
Matty
scoring
Nicholson
tries.
won.
Yeah, because
Right, he had a good game.
You know,
didn't he?
as I said, I don't want to claim the flowers on Matt. I said Nicholson. Everyone was worried about his minutes. I said, mate, Ricky, Raiders insider here. Ricky loves Nicholson, mate. He loves him.
I wasn't a believer, and I stand corrected.
Yeah.
He's proved me wrong.
He's a big believer in Nicholson,
him.
mate.
yeah.
Corey is going through the concussion protocols. They're applying to have him play. What would you do, Andrew, if he can't play this game? Would you try and switch him up for like a Tarpanay?
Yeah, but I mean, Luke's quite hot on him playing Origin. I don't think he kind of gets a look in, if I'm completely honest.
Well, it's out of
That's a scorching.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
you've got guys like Tom Gilbert,
Yep.
right? Corey,
Yep.
and then you look at some of the guys we mentioned. But Fermor and
I know he's on the edge. I know on the edge. But then there's Trent Liero, my man.
Yeah. I think Corey's ahead of those.
What does Corey have over those guys,
He's
though?
big.
And he can play middle and edge.
Middle and edge, I know.
I'll go Corey.
I think Corey's in better form right now than Tom Gilbert.
We need to talk. I agree. We need to talk Bulldogs. We need to talk Jacob Kiraz. He puts up 100.
Well, he's one of, yeah.
You guys both got him.
Well, he's my again, I think I've said it before. I think he's my favourite non-Manly player.
I picked him up near 2
That's
3
a
weeks
back.
ago.
That's a
and I
back
was like,
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm really got
Yeah.
Kiraz regret. And I don't think you can bring him in. I don't think you can bring him in this week. The Raiders have shut down every right winger they've played this year, like completely shut down.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can chase the points because I think, and that's what Kiraz does, right? He'll get a 35, a 55, and then an 80 plus, and then he'll kind of he might not be in that order, but that average is around that 55. So it's like Garrick. You want to get him.
Yeah, he's very similar.
And those guys, you almost want to start the season with them, but we couldn't in Kiraz's case because he was injured.
He was out the first time.
So it's very hard to find the right week to bring him in. I'm probably suggesting now, just wait, because if Lomax doesn't get named next week, Kiraz could be the winger for New South Wales. I would suggest just wait until you see that round 12 team list, and if Kiraz is not in Origin, grab him then, because he might just taper off slightly in the next 2 weeks and make it a bit more affordable.
We might need Moffat and Leake to do some flame emojis here, because that's 2 scorching hot takes from both of you inside 2 minutes. As for Origin and no horse for Origin, that's.
Well, I just don't think. I'm just not as hot for that as you are. I don't know.
Big red, mate. Big red.
And we're all on Preston Watch. I feel like it's Anchorman.
Well, I don't have him. I'm just praying for you, big man.
There's a lot of us.
I don't have him, so I hope he gets suspended for 3 weeks.
Well, it won't be 3.
Throw the book at him.
4 years.
He's challenging
Throw the book at him, Paulie.
So obviously 4 weeks is a sell. Look, it's great news for his owners that he's challenging it.
Yeah.
Because 3 is that awkward, I should sell him, but what if?
I'll be brutally honest.
4, it's an easy sell.
I want him to get off, not because I own him, but I want him to actually, I think he deserves to be in the New South Wales squad.
Yeah, and I think
I don't think he'll make it, but I think he'll be part of the squad. So.
Part of the reason why they chose to fight it was probably because he realised, like, it doesn't come along every day to play Origin or be in the squad.
Being out a month is brutal. Like, it can ruin your whole momentum.
It's a lot. So and Max King, I know he was quiet last week, but that's not the game script for a Max King. This game's a total Max King game script. So if you own him, you're absolutely laughing. If you don't own him and you're planning ahead of schedule, you're in a good spot.
He's going to play
Get
monster
him.
minutes.
Get him in this week. He is a great trade-in target this week.
Just say if you don't have tickets for this, you should hurry up and get some.
Who do we?
He'll be sold out.
Just get it now.
Just
get them now.
Who do we like?
Get them now,
boys.
I like Canberra.
I'm just worried about a couple of those suspensions for the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Okay. So you lean Dogs if Preston played, but if Preston doesn't play, you.
Burton missed last week. He's back this week, but Curran's still out.
No
Preston might be out.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm leaning towards right. I'm worried about the 90 or
you
90-minute game.
You wouldn't go against Raiders anyway. They're your boys.
Yeah, I'm worried about the fact they're coming off a big game Sunday night, went into goal.
Raiders just keep surprising me, so I'm like
underdogs, mate.
Radar. Under the radar.
Let's get some questions, shall we? Tim Blake, who's your top pod for the next section of the season? That's a good question because I think with the salary cap being so high and everyone, when we're sort of steering away from pods, normally this time of year we'd be trying to get a few. Yeah. Luke, what's your strategy around pods? Are you thinking, I still want to find one or two? Or are you just thinking, these are the guns that I don't own yet, the Toby Couchmans? Yeah. I just want to find a way to get them at the right time.
Yeah, 100%. And especially with the news with the Dragons too. I think you can almost Couchman's almost a must.
I would say this, and I know people are scared off him because they owned him, but if you could just pretend you never owned Luke Metcalf and then think about him as a potential pickup.
It's a lot of pretending for me.
Yep, but he wanted a pod.
That's like Shutter Roll and pretending for me.
Well, he wanted a pod.
I know. Okay, yeah.
He's my pod.
It's a good shout, don't get me wrong. But like
he's
you said,
my pod.
It's the consciousness of just...
Yep. But you've got to put that out of your brain. If he gets a 50 this week and a 60 next week, he'll go up 110k.
I didn't want to know that, Paulie. I didn't want to know. I got rid of him and I never looked back.
You're not inceptioning me, Paulie.
Anyway, plays the Dragons, and Dom Griffin has a good question about them. Afternoon, gentlemen, with Gula injured again. Is Hamish Stewart worth a look, or is Pacifici Tonga? I think he might have got a little misspell there. On the bench, pour cold water on that. It doesn't pour cold water on that, Andrew, because I've only got Pacifici Tonga for 10 or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
I think Hamish could play 45 minutes off the bench.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a dip of the toe kind of,
Yes,
just finding his feet in first grade. So I think, yeah, I don't think it pours too much cold water on it.
I don't think so at all. 54 is my predicted score for Hamish, Dom. So,
He's good. That's good. It's a good shout, man. Like, he's a good player.
well, de Bellin's getting less minutes.
Yeah.
Clemmer's
Yeah,
not really getting many minutes, and Laurie's being dropped.
And they're not winning.
So
And he's
They're not
he's a goer.
they're looking to the future.
Yeah, he's a goer.
Little
He's-
got more minutes
Yep.
this week.
They've got to
Dylan, Keegan.
they've got to make some big decisions about their team. The biggest sin on their team is Jacob Little does not play enough.
Yeah,
He finally
As soon
got
as
over
he
40
comes on, they
minutes.
look like a different team.
He finally got. I mean, he played his old
Jeez,
club.
I
He
just-
scored twice.
I just wish he
It's
was.
madness.
Mate, he'd be my first hooker picked if he was playing 80. I mean,
Oh.
he would get monster scores.
You'd
mate.
almost be tempted to play Cookie in another position. Just so
What
Little
centre?
could
He's
start.
played for the Blues at centre.
Yeah, there we go.
Worth looking at.
Jeez.
He had to cover centre a couple of times this year. Moses Sully couldn't finish the game. Ruben, hey Luke, I know you're the man. Who shall I trade out for Nafa'uwa?
I even got a love heart emoji too. Is that
But-
our first emoji on the?
Well, we just talked about how White might be a hold, though. So, Ruben, why are you trading him out?
I think he might be chasing the points. I think the great man. No, don't trade out Nafa'uwa White, mate. Not yet. It's
Not with mid so
not
hard
the, not
to
the
cover.
time yet.
Unless you're playing head-to-head only and you don't have to get a match-up in
Yeah.
12. Terry Evans got Watson, Toya, Savala, Wong, and Mark Nawanganditawaze. That's another guy we didn't mention, but I think he's a hold as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Watson's the sell,
Yeah.
and Wong might be a sell. But Andrew, I've been tinkering with this idea of just watching the first couple of games.
Yep.
So sticking, if you own a Yongi, for example, or a Brimson, and they play early, you just stick them around 19 or 20. If you've got heaps of Roosters, if they go absolutely terribly, then you go, oh well, see you, Wong. If they go well, keep Wong in, you'll get their score as he emerges.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have to trade before,
Yeah, no,
before the round starts.
That's the thing. It's a rolling locker, right, Paul?
It's a rolling
So
locker.
why don't you, if you've got the time or the energy,
You just
go
got to
nuts.
stay tuned.
Just
Just
stay, yeah.
go to NRL.com,
Yeah.
on the hour, every hour, basically, is my suggestion. And
I
just
love-
keep hitting the
Yep.
out.
I love Terry Evans' profile picture. It's just outstanding. But yeah, just get rid of Watson so far, bud.
He's a unique individual, Terry. Lee Warburton, afternoon lads, I'm thinking about trading Daniel Saifiti and Sandon Smith, but not sure who to get. Is it worth trading in Saifiti? Which one? Is he trading out Daniel?
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Because I reckon Jacob's a trade in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
Like, just have a look at Jacob's predicted minutes.
they've got no middles, mate. They're relying
he's
on
only
him so
got-
much.
35 minutes projected, 30. He'd have to play more minutes.
Yeah, probably Lee, to be honest.
I'd make those moves and just try and get.
I'm just trying to think who he could get. I wonder
Well,
what his
hopefully he
salary's
could
like.
go Lucas and King Tonga.
Yeah, that'd be good, buddy.
Or Lucas
yeah, that's a good
Riley
one.
Smith, you know, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he quite has the
Yeah.
money for it. But that would
Yeah,
be good,
Sandon,
wouldn't
what
it?
he's like
460.
460, yeah. And Luke, yeah, depends how much money you got in the bank too, if any.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd definitely do that if you didn't get King Tonga last week.
Yeah,
All right, should we get back to it?
let's go, Paulie.
So,
It is Dragons v the Warriors, 5:30 kickoff down at Wed Stadium in Wollongong. It is a great pace to watch rugby league, and I think this is going to be a good game because the Dragons fire up at home, particularly down there, but they're playing the Warriors, who are in form, they're red hot, and I don't know who's going to stop them.
Well, it is, with my tips, I don't know who to pick this week. With this is a real danger game for the Warriors. Like,
I'm almost tempted to tip the Dragons.
I think I am too. Like,
Just because they love playing.
they love
Wed
playing
Stadium.
there. Not that the Warriors are bad at home this year, outside of home this year. It's just The Dragons are so good down there.
That magic round game
Yeah.
for the Warriors, like the crowd, everything, they would have been at such a high.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a come down from that. It's just natural.
Well, I
And
said
have they been home yet? Like, it's just so many different
I
variables.
said last week, I said the problem with the Warriors, the only thing my concern with the Warriors is Doc didn't miss a hide, right? So they played at some magic round, right? But that was their home game, wasn't it? Was
Yeah.
that their home game or was that away game?
No, it was their home game.
Okay, so but they kind of. But this is
They had a good crowd too.
They had a good crowd, so we'll see.
There's a lot
We'll
of-
see.
lot
I
of
think this is a
New
massive
Zealanders
game because, again, Dragons. It's a must win. It's not. It's almost must win, but they need a big bounce back. Like you boys said, they're at their favourable home ground, and we're going to see how the Warriors are in an away venue.
Well, the thing for me is how they've had to move Capewell into the backs, but with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the reserves,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somehow that reshuffles it.
Yeah.
So if you're a Clark owner, some people have owned Halasima. They're sweating on that news.
Yep.
Valmunga,
Yeah.
some people have.
That
Laban.
that was always the danger bringing those guys in.
There's a lot of guys that are going to be looking over their shoulders. Even Wade Egan with Sam Healy on
Also-
the bench. People
also-
own Wade Egan now because he's gone so
Also,
well.
too, Chance was very limited last week. I mean, he still had a good game, but he had a big strapping on his leg.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how he rolls, mate.
anywhere. 100%.
That's how
He is a bit of a
rolls.
warrior.
He's a warrior.
It's just a
these-
flesh wound.
And these Dragons
There's nothing.
forwards are just set and forget.
But
You just Egan, Couchman, just stick them in.
But to your point, that whole back line could completely change by the
It could
kickoff.
change, so that's where it's just going to be tough. And the 5:30 Saturday game, we don't,
Oh,
we're
I'm
probably our sides are locked in by then.
I'm not buying for a
Hard to
second
loot.
Kurt Capewell's playing centre either.
I mean, he's been playing well there. It's
Luke
crazy.
Downer.
So,
I know,
yeah.
I know. But that's a big matchup this weekend.
And if you didn't already get Lycan King Tongi, you just get him this
Yeah, I
week.
think so. He's still
that was
quite
really
cheap, yeah.
That was really impressive
Good for a first game.
for a first game, and he's only got up 30k, so it's not the end of the world if you didn't get him. But
Nice
I wouldn't
try
wait.
assist for another super...
Hang on, that's right. We can't go that far without talking about Aaron Clark, can we? Can't move.
Well, I sort of mentioned him, right?
Yeah, but I think we need to give him
What about Dylan
a bit
Egan?
of love,
Talk
bit of
about
love,
him?
don't we?
Dylan Egan? Must
Yeah,
have?
no, I
Yeah.
said that as well.
Yeah, okay.
Just set and forget.
Yeah, sorry.
Couchman and Egan.
Sorry.
Aaron Clark, yeah.
Sorry.
So with the
listening to you,
Mamazelis,
Paulie.
the Mamazelis injury, now Clark just becomes a must own, or if you
Yeah.
don't have him, do you go, well, he's too expensive?
It's pretty close to it.
I think... Yeah.
So you just got to make a tough call on if you're going to pay the big bucks and risk Clark reverting to 2024 Clark. I mean,
Well, he's given you how many weeks so far of this now?
I jumped on weeks ago. I loved what I
the
saw.
data
in
is
that,
there.
that game.
So I just wanted
against the
to give him a bit of
Broncos.
love because I felt like I was a bit of a doubter of his. I just didn't want to.
Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't want to be a flat
He's
track
gone
bully.
home.
You know what I mean?
He's gone home and he's loving life.
Yeah.
He-
So
yeah,
shout out
sure
to
is.
him.
Cowboys v the Panthers. This is going to be another bumper game up in North Queensland. Everyone's talking Scott Drinkwater because fantasy-wise, he's been destroying it, and now he comes up against the incumbent New South Wales #1 in Dylan Edwards. So it'll be a great clash.
Well, he does it. But the thing with Drinkwater is he just does everything. Like he's in every play. He does the.
If they're good, he's good.
He
like,
runs
yeah.
the sideways tackle breaks, does little nothing offloads,
Yeah,
he
kicks.
goal kicks,
Yeah.
he kicks in general play.
Do you want to know of an interesting stat
Go on,
around,
Paulie.
around the draw?
Hit me.
After round 12, the Cowboys do not have a bye until round 27.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Okay.
So if you own Drinkwater or if you're thinking of getting him, that tells you like great guy to own.
It's brutal.
Yep,
It's brutal
okay.
if you don't own him.
Didn't know that, Paulie. That's gonna-
Round 13 onwards, right? If you don't own him now, you might just say, oh, well,
Cool your jets a bit.
cool the Jets
Yep.
until after get through that
He's
first
very-
bye
he's-
round. But him and Couchman will be huge pickups in round 13.
Also, too, they've got a chunk of home games coming up too. They're a different team.
Different team. Purdue owners hold the faith, I think.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
fine. He's
Some
It'd be
people are saying sell, but I wouldn't.
fine. No,
Oh, wait.
we don't have 50 trades, mate. Like, you can't just keep selling people.
Reece,
Gonna run out.
Reece Robson, I'm still watching carefully. I still think he could be a buy at some point, and then Jeremiah Nanai.
When?
After Origin?
After Origin.
Well, we don't know for sure if he's going to get selected.
He'll get
Appy.
selected. He'll get
I
selected.
reckon my man Appy's
Nah.
going to get selected.
Yes,
No.
we have got some
Did you listen to the
flames
press
coming
conference?
around here,
Did you
man.
listen
We got
to
some
Benji?
Flames.
No, Reece Robinson's playing Origin. Don't ignore Paulie.
Appy.
Oh,
Appy.
all right.
Appy and Watson.
Okay. We've got some real clickbait this show, don't we?
Yeah, are Penrith back, Paulie?
Well, they've done this against the Roosters, and then they
Yeah.
went back to what-
Powerhouse of Manly, though. That's to be fair.
That's right.
Yeah, so we need to see it to believe
got
it
turboed.
twice. We need to see it
turboed.
twice in a row.
All right.
I would
I think
potentially
they're back.
captain Nathan Cleary because have you heard my theory on the combat?
I like
curse?
this one, Paulie.
You and Scott Baldwin?
They've changed home grounds, right? He's not playing at his home ground anymore when it says Penrith at home, unless it's a Magic
You heard
Round
this,
game.
Andrew? You heard this
Yeah,
one?
it was amazing.
Oh,
Then
okay,
it's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
When he's home and he's at Magic Round, he loves playing at Suncorp, no issue. Gets a 90 for fun. Up in North Queensland should be no problem, another 90. I'm predicting 94.
I'm just visualising Tom Leakin there, just clipping that out, just making a nice,
Yep.
beautiful border, just zooming in.
So this is a non-combank game, so I reckon you just
Captain.
Captain Cleary.
Well,
So the combat curse for Cleary.
I'll be captaining Haas.
Yes.
I'll be captaining Cleary.
Really? You're going to lock that in right? You're going to look in the camera and tell me you're Captain Cleary right now?
I'm still deciding.
yeah, that's what I thought.
But I'm
thought.
probably 80% Cleary.
Mate.
80% Cleary.
Come on, mate.
Leaky wants the grab, but I'm not giving it to him. And Isaiah Yeo, is he going to be a sell after this game because his points are not where they usually are?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's been.
This is round 11 for the bye.
Mids,
This round 12 for Origin.
mids are just too important.
For his
the one-
standards, it's not.
I'm gonna.
The one guy I wish I'd just started with Couchman instead of Yeo.
I need.
Well,
I need.
that would have been, yeah.
I need big.
Save the
I need
cash.
Big Joe in, and I need Couchman in.
And we've got to mention Tom Jenkins.
Yeah,
because
brutal.
you talk about a roller coaster. People sold him. Then he goes and gets 70 or 73, was it updated?
Because he
In the 70s.
had someone inside him that was passing him the ball. You mean?
And then he gets dropped to the interchange.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster! Sunday to Tuesday, like
you see that
that's
meme,
fantasy.
did you see that meme on the weekend? Jenkins with someone inside him that passes him the ball. And it's Brett Morris.
yeah, I did see that. That's harsh. Poor old Casey. I like Casey.
I'm just talking about getting.
I know.
Just talking about getting him the ball,
Now,
mate.
one to watch, Lurin Batia. He's normally an edge. He played middle on the weekend. He absolutely brained it. If he gets another good game, good minutes, this
He's
one.
a big kid.
Big kid. He could be a great round 12.
Could be anything.
Bring in, right?
Could be anything.
Well, you think about, like, is Lindsay Smith going to be... He played for Australia. Is he even in the radar?
He's one of your favourites.
Yeah, but is he on the radar for New South Wales Origin? We know Yo's going to play.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But certainly, even with Yo gone, Patia might get it.
Yeah, he might, yeah, you're right.
So I think he's going to be... Definitely watch him closely in this game.
Big game. Oh, here we go. We've got to get to the main course, though, don't we?
Get your questions in. We're about to answer a whole heap more of them. Just got... Luke said it. Main course time. Sunday afternoon rugby league. Storm v the West Tigers. Another top 8 battle this round. What
We
a
love saying that.
bumper.
He's been waiting years to say this.
So, yeah. You look at the likes of Pappenhausen against his former club. Jereen Buller, he couldn't be playing better. That try.
Oh, mate, I love him. I love him.
105
Well,
metres.
back to my Broncos chat. I mean, I think if you ask Bellamy and put a bit of truth serum in him, I don't think he's very happy with his team.
But he
this
couldn't
year.
be.
Well, I mean,
Even in their wins, they've
I know, but they're
been
missing Harry
ordinary.
Grant. Like against the
but-
Dragons, they didn't have Jerome Hughes.
But even before that,
I know.
Before that, they had some really.
Oh, they towed up
weird-
Manly. Awesome. You know, like.
At home, though,
Yeah.
they've been a lot better, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they
they-
beat teams like Eels and South.
So they didn't put Souths away. To be fair.
No, they didn't.
right at the end.
Yeah.
They
So
didn't. Again, the score was reflected, but they didn't put. They didn't really put. They could have put. They should have put 60 on.
I know, but like I think
They're
they're still
stopping
in the
in
race.
the second
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
Cameron Munster owners,
Yeah.
it's really hurting them, right?
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks ago he was on course for an 80, ended up only getting a 60 odd. And in this game I thought he played all right, but 37, it's not enough.
Well, it was a rough weekend for Andrew's favourite player. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a rough
Trent
trot.
Liero.
I'm expecting a big bounce. I think
He's pretty much cruelled his origin
I think
chances
they-
with that.
I don't think so.
You watch him come out, and
All right, we'll see what Billy
I
does.
think
you're going to be cursing him by the end of the
I think
round.
him and Uto would have got the absolute spray of doom this week. They'll be so fired up this week because you know what? Again, not to get onto the Tigers straight away, but I think this game is the biggest game of Terrell May's career coming up.
Is it Stefano?
So Stefano
it's a
v
revenge
Terrell.
game.
Yeah.
Revenge game
Yeah.
for Stefano.
It could literally be who plays New South Wales.
Yeah, 100%. That's why.
And starting, because the way Mitch Barnett's been going, I don't think he starts. I think it's Haas and whoever wins this battle.
Yeah, you could be
very
right.
possible.
Could be
So
right.
I think Barnett's in, but
More on the bench.
But that's why I think
And Leniu is definitely on the bench.
That's
Yes.
why I think May's, it's the biggest game of May's career.
I think the winner of this battle starts.
Well, who you? Tipping.
You got to tip the home team just with
Oh,
those
you're not-
odds,
No?
just with what they've been doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Liero
Well,
Stefano,
it was such a bad loss for him.
bit of a rocket up. They should have won.
100%.
They should have won.
And there's, other than not
to take anything away from the Raiders, but yeah.
not captaining May this week, right? We just cool the Jets.
Yeah.
Let's talk Manly v Cronulla, shall we? And the Seagulls had the bye last week, so they got a chance to get a bit healthier. Jason Saar's back. Turbo will play again this week, and Jake Jaborovich is also back. But they didn't put him at lock. So, Luke, this is huge news for people that brought in either Jazz Tavanga or Jake Simpkin before the bye.
We talked about it in the pre-season, I think our very first pre-season pod, we said, what if Gerbo goes to prop? And the reason they've bought Jazz is to alleviate and basically him playing that hooker mid-roll now. And
Well, he could do the Aaron Clark.
He could do the Aaron Clark.
Where he was.
Jazz was awesome against Penrith.
I think honestly, I think if he plays 65, again, it's a big call. It's a big call. But if he's playing 65 minutes,
I don't think he gets that many minutes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
he's a big shout.
Does Jakey get a rest?
Yeah,
he's been getting rest anyway.
I reckon he'll play about 55 minutes, Jake. Or maybe 60.
Oh, I think 60. I don't think.
But still, that's way lower than his usual
100%.
from the other years.
They can't afford to have him off 50.
But that means Tavanga, I've still got Tavanga maybe around 45 then, if Jake gets 60.
Yeah, it needs to be more to be a buy.
Score of 35. And it really comes down to also, is he spelling Jake Simpkin? How long for? Is it going to be a Hopgood effect if he goes to hooker? Does he stop scoring fantasy points like Hopgood does?
Well, it's unfortunate you brought up Simpkin because I think a lot of people would send questions about him. But I think there are a few people who actually saw Croker yesterday at some event and basically said he's trying to come back next couple of weeks. Yeah, so you got to factor. I'm just telling people factoring in like they don't want to.
There's too many unknowns.
Too many unknowns. That's what I'm saying.
I know you got a few injuries in the pack. I would have loved to have seen Caleb Navale get another go.
Well, you know where I stand on that. I think they need to start bringing him in up. But I do think Talau's where he should be. I think he's got to be the second row / back utility now. That's the best back line they can roll out.
Yeah.
That's why I think again, if you're a Garrett owner, I'd be excited because Turbo's back and he just makes Garrett
coming up against
20 points better.
KL Hero, and now Hero straight back into it. I mean, this guy, if we didn't have so many centre options, we'd be eyeing him off. But really, he's just a draft.
Getting related to a Manly legend again, so you see the DNA, that's what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, Nico Hines, Manly legend.
Always back to Manly with you.
Fanua Blake, Manly legend.
Mate.
So what's going on in Fanua Blake / McInnes world? Because it seems like there can be only one. Like, when are we going to get both of them just getting those really good fantasy scores? It's a bit annoying.
It is, yeah, so I've had Fanua Blake from day one, and he started the season awesome, but ever since I think it was a groin injury, hasn't been quite the same. So absolute speculation, but it just seems he's not 100%.
The corresponding game where they last played, that's when everyone started to raise the red flags about Fanua Blake. I mean, when he come off and he was like, he was holding it, everyone goes, oh no, you have to sell him. And then he backed up.
Yeah.
So he kept playing. So I think Fitzgibbon's actually managing him through this.
Yeah, maybe he's just not training as much.
It's just frustrating. Having Hazelton start last week, I thought made a big difference.
I do think Hazelton getting injured at the start of the season kind of ruined their rotation.
Because he's a bit of like one of those blue guys. You know, he just starts and he sets the foundation.
Well, the game last year at Brookvale, 4 points. Sorry, he had a monster game. Remember?
Yeah, he's a good.
That was for the top four, wasn't it? Yeah, we got pumped. They did. Sorry.
So, the one we talked about there, Nakora.
Well, I'm surprised people are thinking about bringing him in this early.
But he has a very juicy price. Like he's one of those guys. If you get him on the bottom,
got a lot of
floor,
attacking side.
Can sniff out a try.
Can sniff, and he did score 2 tries last year.
Yeah. I don't need an edge.
Running against a grain. Oh, it's scary.
Yeah. If people have got Preston, if Preston is rubbed out for a month and they need an edge for this next Origin period.
That's why I'm bringing him.
I love having Sharks players. I'm just not sure now that the Fanua Blake, what you're talking about, and a bit down, and I'm not sure McInnes is going to be a buy either unless he needs to play extra minutes.
How far is Teague Wilton off? Because I really like him too.
Yeah, but another edge.
Another edge. Yeah.
I'm not sure
he's not back this year.
They got so many edges.
This week, sorry.
If Fanua Blake has a big game in this one, I'd be tempted. But he is playing his old club, so it could be an outlier.
He does like to beat us up a bit.
It's as tough as it gets, and I might tip against your boys, I'm afraid.
That's a shock.
But the Sharks...
You are a resident Manly hater.
I am not. I don't hate Manly. Like,
Steve is a close personal friend too.
that's right. I love seeing them do well because, as you said, Siebes is a former member of our
Stable.
stable.
Yep.
So anytime he gets a win, that's a win for us.
Yeah. And a win for us.
Let's get to the questions, shall we? Bring Campbell and Humphries back in. Watch for a week. Says it's me. That's right. You have to watch, I think.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
I think Humphries is given just a necessity. I wouldn't bag people that have brought him straight back. I wouldn't bring Campbell straight back in.
Yeah.
It's just hard to know. What if, we get now before kick-off and suddenly, they're not quite right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and then plus they could get pumped.
Humphries has a high break even too.
But he might do 50 tackles because I think me and Paulie talked about. I think he's going to go to hooker
He's going to
after
have to play
20 minutes.
because Jai Gray's on the.
Because Jai Gray will come on after
Gray's
20
not
minutes,
playing.
mate. He could come after 20 minutes.
Is Lewis on the
extended.
In the
Extended.
extended? Okay.
So Jai Gray will go to 6
say
and then
Gray
Humphries will go to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dane McRae's, Riley Smith a buy. I think he could be, especially with hooker depth issues.
Well, mate, the hooking position is just literally going to decide if you finish really high this year or not because it's a brutal position.
And any team that have just come off a bye in the last
Yeah.
few weeks,
Yeah.
that means they've got a nice little run now, whereas so many other teams are going to have buys in the next few weeks.
Dane,
so Parramatta's in a good spot there.
Dane, you're going to have to take a chance on one of these hookers. This is what I mean. Like, we could be totally wrong, we could be totally right. But
I
think
like
these
him as a
hookers are
player.
It's just so hard.
I'm just going to watch him one more week. If he gets a 50 or even a 45, I'm going to jump on next week.
What's he actually priced at?
He's still under
still
400.
super cheap.
Yeah, okay.
So he'll go up quite a bit because obviously now
That's
he's
what I
had
mean.
the 50.
It's worth the
but
gambling.
I think I don't mind it.
Who to swap for Peter Mamazella? So you go, Liam Bolt.
Same
discussed.
problem.
So Clark, if you can afford it and if you can make it work with dual trading.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't, then maybe it is a Riley
Yep.
Smith type.
And then bank the
cash.
money and then get the
Or one of those
bigger.
Manly guys, whether you like Simkin or Tavanga more, but knowing that if Croker comes in, it's risky.
No.
And then the other guys, well, it's not going to be Plath because he's now out for a month.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's one of the worst injuries you can get because they have to manage it.
Yeah, I
It
don't
wasn't
It's
as
just
bad as what they
brutal.
thought, right? But it's still, yeah.
Well,
And
it's killed. Again, back to the Origin talk, but it killed any chance he had because I think he was a real chance
Yeah.
of jagging that Origin
And my
spot.
guy, Reece Robson.
He's a Billy Slater type of
think
player.
Do you think he's going to play Origin?
Who?
Reece Robson. Because he'd be another guy I'd be happy to swap.
I'll stake my reputation on it, Paulie.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's the guy I'd be looking at.
Yeah,
closely.
they're not changing that spine that dramatically. They've already got Cleary, Robson, and the fullback. I mean, I don't think they're changing.
I think, I think it's Moses.
If anyone's going to get changed, it's a 6.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the other hooker though that for fantasy wise I like.
Yep.
Like he'll score well. Hayden Oddie, thoughts on bringing Ito as a pod move for Dewey and Sandon Smith and Nanai, or Sandon Smith to Nanai?
Yeah.
Well, they're big pods.
Well, so hey, in full disclosure, I did Nanai last week. Again, bit of a risky play because I thought I don't know if he might be 18th man, 19th man for Queensland. He's playing probably too good now. He might actually make it. Poor Luke. But I love Iro. I think he's just a win. Mate, he scored every game. He scored a try every game.
I just
so
wonder
far.
if there's any
got
way you
that
could
Val
get
Holmes journey.
Lucas instead and just get a cheapie instead.
But they want a pod, right?
he wants a pod.
wants a pod. I don't mind it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Lee Warburton is Savage worth a trade. I'm not trading him in.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
not.
he doesn't do enough off the ball, mate.
Yeah, and he's got a mistake.
He needs 75% possession and just an open.
But even then, it's not great. So get your questions in. We've just got a few to go before we wrap this up.
See if we can get any more hot takes out of Paulie and Andrew here. This would be good.
Dom Griffin just wants to know with Yo and Martin off to Origin soon, is Laurent Batia on anyone's radar? Well, he is.
Great minds
Listen to
think
the
alike,
preview.
Paulie.
Blake showed up two of the best props. He sure did show them up. Dom, I'm afraid to say, because I know you're a Broncos fan. He was outstanding. Outstanding.
Yep.
And he has the size, and I've been waiting when Ivan was going to move to the next generation. And I wondered, he needed to do it. He's done it. And there's probably a couple of other juniors in there that he could start blooding as well. But he's the first cab off the rank. So obviously this week they've got a bye next week, Penrith. So I think this is a great opportunity to watch him one more round and see what happens.
That's why this game's so important. Because if they won the game they shouldn't have won, they win this game, they get the bye, they're back in business.
back in business.
If they lost last week, this game's a bit of a toss-up. and they're probably, like you said, it's next generation time, baby. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of just. The season's done anyway.
But I feel like it's next generation to win. I feel like some of the guys they've got need to be upgraded for the youth. The Roosters are doing.
Well, they don't have the premiership ring, right? So that's what they're fighting for.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the guys that have done well the last 2 years. I'm not talking about those fringe players who are now. It's like who do we bring in now? We've lost these guys like Luai, like Crichton the year before, Burton the year before that. Do we bring in the fringe players, or do we look at the next generation? That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Liam is back. No, it's Ruben. Good to see you, Ruben. Do I keep or hold Stone Streak and Asako? He's hoping the matchups will help for Asako.
Jesus, this Ruben is a very potty player. I was going to say Ruben Pot. I'm going to call his last name.
Get yourself a fan there, Lukey.
Asako's your man. I mean,
back in the day, 2023, absolutely brained it.
Well, Stone Street loves to score on the try, right? But does he score well outside of that?
I can tell
Herbie's the guy. If I'm owning a Dolphin, it's Herbie, but he's very expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. And then
keep playing pod,
and is Dane's curious? Would Cleary not get picked for Origin?
Cleary's getting picked. He's the best player in the game.
That shan't be happening. They'll both be playing Dane.
I think if Cleary had another quiet game against Brisbane, no, I'm just saying. Then you could ask that question.
Yeah.
He was outstanding.
Yeah, I know. But still no.
The problem is Dane. It counters each other because they're both going to play.
They're both playing.
Yeah.
But if we want a hot take, Cleary would be my number 1 or number 7 picked. 7 days a week.
So Luai's just too bad. He's left Penrith. He can't get.
Well, it's not too bad.
What's he done wrong?
Moses did nothing wrong. Origin as well, but Cleary
played one game. Luai's been there for years.
But it's
Luai Cleary, please.
All right, enhance the camera then. Enhance the camera.
Coruscant 9, Luai 6.
Who's a better player, Mitchell Moses or Jerome Luai?
They're different.
No. Who's the better player?
They're different types.
Oh, okay.
Who would you rather the Tigers?
Luai.
Would you like Moses back?
I don't think so. I tried, guys.
Boge, is Brimson a sell? I'm worried about his scoring.
Yep. You should be, Boge.
Yep.
Look, I'm going the other way, Boge. I think with JC back, that enhances Brimson. Because JC can set stuff up.
I love AJ.
He just needs to score tries to keep his score going.
That's right.
That's the problem.
I love AJ. I love him, but I don't like him at 5'8".
Metcalf all over again. It's just extremely frustrating.
So you're saying he's a hold?
No. What did you say earlier in the show? There can only be one? No, there's only one, mate. I'm not doing 2.
Digger asks, is Mamazellis to Lucas and Toyota King Tongi are good?
Yes.
It's very good.
Lock it in.
That's as good as it. That's the best 2 trades you can possibly make this week.
Mate, you've got the gold star this week.
Next week you'll be on this show.
It's
asking you for advice.
I think that almost wraps it up, Leaky, unless you got another one for us. Any other crazy hot takes? Otherwise, we can wrap this bad boy up.
Well, let's cut the stream before Paulie gets cancelled for an extremely hot take.
I feel like just West Tigers players are getting a bit ignored.
Oh, here we go.
It should be mentioned.
Okay.
Andrew, Luke, thanks so much. I'm Paulie G. Stay tuned all week for plenty of analysis, fantasy, hot takes, and all the rest of it, articles. We've got the lot at NRL.com. And if you're listening on the podcast next week, why not join us live? YouTube. It's on the NRL channel on YouTube, and it's 4 p.m. every Tuesday. We hope to see you then. And if you're already here, well, we'll catch you next week. Bye for now.